I've learned a lot about myself. I do not need a lot of things.
Please invest in Velcro strips or magnets.
I found out that my boyfriend was dating multiple women, including these two, and that's how I met them.
Hi, I'm Becca.
I'm Abby.
And I'm Morgan, and we're the Bam Bus.
Come take a tour of our self-built schoolie. Hi, I'm Abby Roberts and welcome to the inside of the Bam Bus. This is our living area and we're gonna start out with our couch here. We named her Pamela. I built this couch and it was one of the very first things that we put inside of the bus and it was a disaster to build. It pulls out and it's also supposed to flip up, and so that was kind of an engineering disaster, but it's been really great if we want to stretch out at night, watch movies together, all of that kind of thing. Another really important thing for our build that we realized through a lot of trial and error is that we have to save space and make all of our storage very efficient. When we first left on the road, there was nothing in this area and we realized that it was a complete waste of space. So Amazon came in clutch and we got a nice tiny little drawer set just to store all of our odds and ends. Another thing that we really like about this area here is that we have the opportunity to store underneath our couch. We thrifted a lot of our storage finds. We have these wicker baskets from Goodwill and all kinds of things like that that make it easier to compartmentalize our items in the bus. Another important feature for our build is that we don't really have any AC or ways to maintain our temperature in here, so it was really important for us to find ways to insulate our bus. And one of the best ways we found is with Reflectix panels, which we have attached with our curtains here. So they just roll out and keep the heat in and the cold out, or vice versa during the summer. Another cool feature that we put in our bus, this was more recent, but we had a problem with our mugs shattering and breaking. So recently we put magnets on all of them, and that's been really nice for the bumpy roads that we encounter day to day. This corner is one of my favorite corners because it's our more artsy decorated corner. One of our favorite things in here is this super inefficient ottoman that we bought. It could have been better for storage, but we just loved the mossy texture of it, and sometimes you just gotta cave and get the thing that's cute, that makes you feel like it's home, because it is. And then my REI chair, I thank God for this chair every day. It's been such a great staple to have on the road, and it's really easy to pack up and put away if we need this space for something else. And then here we have all of our decorations. If you are building out a bus and you want to have decorations, please invest in Velcro strips or magnets or whatever you can to keep it secure. We had a mirror just like this the first leg of our trip that fell and shattered because it just wasn't secured the right way and we had no idea how to do that. So Velcro is a great investment. I mean, even this tiny little ceramic pot is Velcroed on, so that's pretty important. And then this is a sign that we found at a campground. It was pretty cool. It was already detached, so.
So how we all met was a little bit of an interesting story. In December of 2020, which already was just the end of a really bad year for everyone, I found out that my boyfriend was dating multiple women, including these two, and that's how I met them. It was great.
So 4 days after we met, we decided to buy a bus. It was quite a quick decision, and it's something that each of us had wanted to do for a long time. I think each of us had been planning to buy a vehicle or renovate the ones we had and live on the road. And it just so happened that when we found each other, we decided to do that dream together, which led us to the schoolie life.
This bus has been amazing for us because I think from the very beginning it symbolized new opportunities and new ways to grow and get out of our comfort zones and leave behind past things that didn't work out for us. And it's been such an incredible way to get to know each other and to grow. It's also been incredibly challenging at some points, but it has been a really cool way to just become the people we want to be.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and I'm going to show you around our kitchen in the BAM bus. So this is our pantry. We actually just labeled everything the other day because it was kind of a pain to figure out where we were storing everything, and we're always just asking each other, like, where are the bars? Where's this? That's been really helpful. This actually used to hold all of our clothes in the back of the bus, and we switched it over here, and it has been way more efficient. There used to be 3 little carts that weren't secured that would just fly every single time that we would drive. So this got bolted in and it hasn't moved at all. It's been incredible. We added a little basket up here for fruit. It kind of stores other random things sometimes, but it's been good to us. Water bottle holder. For all our hydro flasks, they tend to run around and clunk when we drive, so we thought, why don't we just put these right here? And it's also served us pretty well. And then we have our counter. This counter is brand new as of the last month, I'd say. And our friend that we met on the road actually built these for us. He builds cabinets for a living, and he was so gracious and was like, I'll build you guys a cabinet for your bus and a counter. So we have this now, and it is amazing. Our old counter was a disaster. It had staples running out of it. It was flooring for the countertop, pretty horrendous. And I think one of my favorite additions is we have a refrigerator now, and it's being currently powered by our Jackery. Our solar is a little bit of a mess currently. We put, what is this called? Contact paper on top because the coloring wasn't exactly our favorite. We didn't have a ton of choice in the matter of what the cabinets looked like, so we painted them, we put contact paper on, and it's bubbling, but we're so happy. It is amazing. So we actually, it felt like an upgrade and a downgrade getting this refrigerator, because we used to have a huge cooler that you could close me inside of, but we had to have dry ice and ice all the time, and our food could only last for like maybe 4 or 5 days tops. In the heat of the summer, it didn't work. So we got a fridge, and this is a godsend. We don't have to worry about our food anymore. It lasts in here for a long time. It's a fridge, so it works like a fridge. It's smaller for sure. I think that was kind of the downgrade. And having 3 people in here, we have to be pretty efficient on when we're shopping of paying attention to what's in our cart and can we fit this all in the fridge, and do we have to chop it up and put it in Pyrex to fit it in there. It's like a puzzle in origami to get it all, but it's been working so far. We're only 2 weeks into having this, but it's been good. Going along with what Abby said, we thrifted a lot of things and we reused a lot of items that we had because we were really balling on a budget for this build out. So these shelving units right here were actually my dad's, and they had been sitting in the garage for over 20 years. And he said we could use them, so we painted them and chopped them down to size, and they are now up here to hold all of our spices and some teas, coffee, just all the loose odds and ends, and they have not moved at all. It's been incredible. We did have to reinforce right up here. We have dowels, and then we've added this bar along the top because the dowels were just wood glued in. They'd fly, and then all of our onion powder, pepper would just come flying at you, whoever's sitting on the couch. Moving down to the other side of our counters, we actually have a sink, and this is also a new upgrade as of the last month, and it's flush. Which is incredible. We used to have a mixing bowl with a hole punched in it as a sink. We have a $7 pump from Amazon that has a really kind of tacky little cord that goes down into our water, which you might be able to see down here. We have really simple 5-gallon jugs. One's, our gray water and one is our fresh water. And we just pump it up with this. We have to pay attention to it and be really diligent about our chores, so we need to empty our gray water every other day or every day to make sure we don't overflow, because we've had past disasters with our gray water. It's been really disgusting. And if you live on the road, you know that showering can be difficult, so if you have a gray water spill, it's not okay. It's pretty bad. It's it's lacking decorations in this edge. We are currently thrifting things as we go from different places to make this happy and fill us with joy, so work in progress. Don't judge us for that. We have a tiny school bus here. We saw that at the gas station. We smiled and bought it. It's the little things that make you happy. And in our cabinets here, we are trying to keep it organized. We keep moving things around, but we've got our coffee, extra 5 gallons of water, a bunch of butane, silverware, all of those goods. And these are magneted closed. The magnets that came with the counters weren't actually strong enough, but my dad actually had a bunch of magnets that he just had in his garage, so we reinforced and added those, and they have not flown open at all. We still tend to reinforce with bungee cords because we are terrified that stuff is going to fly out like knives, but it's been good so far. We know we're probably prone to a lot of accidents, but we've got all of our pots and pans and our stove. It's down here, cooking utensils, plates, etc. So we have a butane stove here, and this is how we cook everything. We don't have anything else, so it's kind of like camping all the time, but it is super simple. This is what it is, this little Coleman stove. And we've only ever cooked on this, and it's been pretty great. I have no complaints, and we haven't had a lot of issues finding butane, which has been really nice. I think we would have had more issues finding propane, especially the last summer, but yeah, it served us well. And then we've got our Jackery right here that is currently charging on the roof deck, and we functioned solely with 2 Jackeries all last summer to charge everything, and it worked really well. We really enjoyed them. We also are able to charge them as we drive if needed from the bus battery power. And we couldn't run a lot off of our Jackeries, like a blender or anything like that wasn't something that we're capable of, but we made do with it. It definitely is possible. We just had to sacrifice some stuff, but they have been amazing, and we're glad we got 2. We first had 1, and we were like, no, let's buy a second one. And it's been the perfect amount of power for the 3 of us, so really appreciate that.
Obviously, moving from a normal, stable living situation to moving in with 2 very new people into a small, cramped, primitive space such as this one, it definitely posed a lot of challenges for us, and things that took a while for us to navigate. One of the biggest things being the lack of personal space. I think all of us kind of agree that we need personal space and alone time to survive, and so that was something that definitely took a lot of communication and trial and error to figure out, especially for the first leg when we didn't have a getaway vehicle or any way to work around that. It ended up being a matter of telling each other, hey, I need to be alone right now, and listening to each other and being accommodating of those needs, because that really is important for sanity on the road.
When we moved on the road together, we were basically strangers. We'd known each other for less than 6 months, and for me, it was my first time moving out. I have a lot of siblings, so I know what it's like to live with a lot of people, but moving into this was quite an experience. A lot of people thought we were crazy because we didn't know each other very well, and also because this isn't like an apartment. It's not something that that anyone can understand. So it was quite a difficult ride. I think one of the hard parts about cramming 3 adults in this space, besides having no personal space, is the fact that all of our things got muddled together. And so most of last summer we shared literally everything, which in a lot of ways was really wonderful, but it also kind of takes away the personal touches that your life had before living in such a small space. All right, hi, I'm Becca, and back from the kitchen is our sleeping area and our storage. So on this side we've got our bunk beds. We are adults and professionals, so obviously this is what we have. This is Abby's, this is Morgan's, and then underneath here is our wheel well and just some extra storage. And on this side, we've got all of our clothes. Squishing 3 closets together was quite a task. We all got rid of many things to fit the essentials or what we thought we would need. So this thing holds pretty much everything. We also have some storage up here, which holds most of our pants rolled up and stuff. And this lovely little net catches anything as it falls out. Along with each having our own bunk bed, we've all kind of decorated our spaces a little differently, so they are kind of the only spot in the bus that we each had individual control over what it looked like. So as you see each bunk bed, they're all a little different, which I think is really fun. Getting into these things is a chore. These taller ones are just a little too tall to jump in comfortably, and the one down here is quite small. So Morgan often bonks her head climbing in and out of bed, but we make it work. We haven't run into too many awkward moments getting in and out of bed, which is good. And I think we all enjoy being roommates, so it's been fine and fun. So okay, right here we have our tiny little bathroom. And further back we have my bunk, which is technically a loft, and then some storage under here. Down here we've decided to use filing cabinets that we found at thrift stores as our form of drawers. They've worked pretty well. They lock, which is nice, so they don't swing open while we're driving, and have just allowed us a lot more flexibility with the things that we can put down here. We also have our 5-gallon water jugs down here, which are what we use to hydrate ourselves. We don't have any hardwired plumbing, so there's no huge water tanks under the bus. So we operate off of these pretty much every day. On this side, we've got more clothing storage. We each have a section, and then our solar is at the very back. It is a mess, so I'll let Abby explain that to y'all. And then on this side, we've got all of our toiletries and face wash, all that type of thing. One of my favorite parts about the back of the bus is this sticker wall. We used to have all of these stickers on our huge cooler up in the kitchen, but when we got rid of that, we decided to move all of them to this back wall. Along with this fun little quote, which is "Get out and come back with cool stories." It's a fun little way to remind ourselves to go out and have a good day and to meet new friends in a just fun and goofy way. So, yeah. One of my favorite parts about living on the road that I completely did not expect is the amount of friends we would make who are older. At the very beginning of our trip, we met some kids our age, and that was incredible and valuable, and we still keep in touch with them. But we have made so many connections with older people that I never would have expected to meet, and I think that they hold such a wealth of knowledge that we never would have been able to access if we hadn't been living on the road.
And I'm going to bounce off of that and elaborate on just the community, the people that are out here living on the road. I had no idea how friendly and loving and generous and open they would be. We have made just, an array of friends, and we have parked next to so many people that we haven't been scared of. I anticipated that being 3 women living on the road, we'd have a lot of scary encounters, but that's been very slim, and we've had so many people that have felt very protective about us, and that have our best interest in mind, and I was blown away by that. I cannot believe how lovely everyone is out here. Moving to the front of our bus, we didn't change a lot up here, like engine-wise, or like we have the original chair and the original stereo, but we did add some personalization. So we have the Live with Intent, which is one of the mottos that we've been trying to roll with since we left, of setting out every day with really good intention and spreading joy and love and just living a fulfilled life and spreading that to other people as well. So Abby painted this about a month and a half ago, I believe. And we have our Home Depot turf collection. I have a weird obsession with turf. I don't know why. So we've been taking the samples slowly the last year. And we have little animals and babies that are just hanging out in the turf. And it's just one of those fun little things that, again, makes us happy, and it's simple and stupid, but I don't know, it's what we laugh at. And we have this phone holder, and this thing has served us really well. We didn't really have a way to hold our phone for a bit, and that was kind of a pain, because when you're looking for directions and you're trying to drive a 33-foot school bus, things get a little tricky and finicky, and you don't really want to have your hands on a phone, because you're just trying to watch the lanes. Driving it is actually much simpler than I thought it was going to be. We don't have air brakes, and we're not using the bus for commercial use, so we didn't need to get CDLs, which meant that any of us could just sit in the seat and drive it, which was a little bit terrifying. So we all took our turns last year in about May or June and drove the bus for the first time ever. And it really wasn't that bad. Once you kind of get the hang of it and you watch your mirrors, you're like, no, it's good. It becomes second nature. It maxes out at about 65, if you can get to 65 miles per hour. I have gone down a hill at 72, and that is the fastest I think this bus has ever gone, maybe 75. Otherwise, going up a hill is like 20, 30, at most. We're super slow. You have those people that are just on your butt that are trying to get by. You feel a little bit bad, but like you can't really do anything. Typically, we don't make very long journeys. We'll go like 4 hours at most, and usually every 2 hours we're swapping out somebody, so nobody has to drive for too long and get exhausted. We do have an 8-hour drive coming up, and that one will be a little bit tricky. It'll be the longest drive we've done so far in this bus, just straight. One thing that we haven't quite figured out yet is the heat that comes from the engine, because we have a front engine bus. And in the summertime, the heat just billows by your feet, and we can't really get it to go away, and we don't have AC in the bus, so we have this fan, and we have this fan, and then we have a foot fan that we made ourselves, and we just clip in, but it is horrendous. I've never felt so hot in my entire life. Like, my feet feel like they're gonna melt. My shoes, I thought, genuinely melted one day. It's awful, and I don't know what is wrong down there, but we've talked about doing some spray insulation or something to block it out, because that is probably my least favorite part about this bus. It's just that right there. That's it. In here is where we keep most of our cleaning supplies. I've seen people use this as a closet before, which is kind of a cool idea, but there's 3 of us, so that's not going to work. So we've got like our laundry detergent, because we go and do our laundry almost every time at a laundromat. And yeah, otherwise just cleaning supplies. We have some rope, and we have some flashers, or I don't know if that's a technical term, but lights that we put on the bus for any time we have an emergency, which we've only used once, thank God. We got stuck in the sand outside a Joshua tree. But yeah, that's what that is. Oh, this is our hanging fruit basket. This does not stay here when we drive, because that would be so dangerous. We just put it on the couch when we drive and then set it back up somewhere in the bus when we're sitting stationary. It's just a good way to store our fruit and kind of keep them away from each other so they don't go bad, because we've got to eat, so.
So one of my favorite things about the bus build out process was getting to design the exterior and make those aesthetic choices with Becca and Morgan. One of the things we were really excited for was painting this stairwell. It was super ugly before, and we just didn't want that, especially because it's like the first thing that you see into the bus. So we painted it with this sunshine pattern. I really like it because you can see it through the windows when the bus doors closed. This is the original color of the bus. It was actually a fire crew bus for many years before we got it. So we decided to stick with that color just as a tribute to where it came from. And then I decided to add this panel here. It's inspired by topography, just because we all love mountains and maps and exploring. We also added these accent colors as well. At first it was just this color and that color, and it looked like a hot dog. So we added the blue and the yellow as well. Like I said before, this used to be a fire crew bus for wildfire crews, and so it had fire crew painted on the side. We kind of wanted to save that, and so we just took off the R and added an N so that it says fine crew. As you can see, just a little joke between all of us, and it's been fun. Gotten a few laughs and a few people confused about what it means. But that's the cool part about designing a bus, is you can do whatever makes you happy. So one of our favorite features about the bus is actually our roof deck. We saw it as an opportunity to utilize the space up top, and so I'm going to be showing you that. Our main access point is through this roof hatch that used to be an emergency exit, and we usually just take a stool and do a muscle up through it to get up there, and that's always pretty fun. Feels like an adventure every time. So I'm gonna show you guys that. Okay, so like I said before, this is our roof deck. It's one of our favorite things that we put on the bus. It's so great for just coming up here to enjoy the sun, or for stargazing, or even doing yoga sometimes. It's pretty fun. It's also a great way to make friends, because it's hard to miss someone standing on top of a bus. So it's really fun to just wave at people and talk with people up here. It's great. One of the things about this roof deck is when we were building it out, decking material was so incredibly expensive, so we wanted to make sure we had an affordable way to build the deck, and our solution to that came in the form of fencing material. That has served us really well. It's a little bit thinner than typical decking material, but it's done its job wonderfully, and we used heavy-duty brackets to secure everything to the roof with some 2x4s, and it's been great for our purposes. Another part about this roof that was really important for us is that we insulated it because of the sun beating down on it, and one of the best solutions we came across was a product called Bus Coat, which is basically a ceramic insulative paint that you can get off Amazon. We used 2 gallons and just slathered it all over the roof, and it made such a difference in the heat inside the bus, by like 10 degrees, I would guess. So that's a really good investment if you're wanting to try and control the temperature within your converted vehicle. Over here we have our solar that we recently added, which I'm super excited for. It's allowed us to have a fridge and to be able to charge our items more efficiently. Our solar system consists of 4 100-watt panels that are wired parallel to each other, that go into 2 parallel wired 12-volt batteries that connect to a charge controller and a power inverter. That's just so that they don't explode and that we can get the most efficient power usage out of our solar system that we can. And that was definitely hard to figure out, but luckily we had Becca's dad, Bill. Thank you, Bill, for helping us out with that one. And also YouTube tutorials came in so much handy, not only for this, but just for the entire build out. If you don't know how to do something for your build out, go to YouTube and look up some videos, and some kind soul has probably uploaded a video about it.
Thank you so much for coming with us to see our tour. We've loved having you.
If you want to see more of our content, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok at the.bam.bus.
And if you liked listening to us talk and see our tour, we have another interview on the Tiny Home Tours YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you out on the road.
Thank you.